We're going to go into the security area of San Quentin. In the unlikely event that you're taken hostage while you're inside the prison, the state of California will not negotiate your release for an inmate's release.
When you step through the gates of San Quentin, you're entering a place where the state has made one thing perfectly clear. If you're taken hostage, they won't negotiate for your release. California's most violent offenders end up here, and survival becomes the only goal that matters. Some inmates talk openly about why they're here, claiming they had to commit violent acts just to get back into court, to get appeals, to get lawyers. San Quentin isn't just a prison, it's a fortress of desperation where the moment those gates slam shut, your entire world shrinks to concrete, steel, and the constant threat of violence. The question every new arrival faces is simple but terrifying. Can you trust anyone in here? Can you survive the yard without getting shanked? The walls themselves seem to hold secrets darker than the crimes that brought these men here. Every breath you take comes with an unspoken warning that your next one isn't guaranteed. Racial segregation isn't official policy, but it's the unwritten law that keeps the peace. Inmates separate themselves by race to avoid confusion, conflict, and bloodshed. Nobody admits who runs things because claiming power makes you a target. The power structure exists in shadows maintained through violence and fear rather than titles or territory. San Quentin State Prison isn't just old. It carries a darkness that goes beyond age. Built in 1854, this facility has witnessed over a century and a half of violence, executions, and human suffering. They call it a rehabilitation center now, but anyone who spent time inside knows that's a cruel joke. There's nothing rehabilitative about a place where tension hangs in the air like fog and secrets are buried in every corner. The prison's history reads like a catalog of American monsters. Charles Manson spent time here. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, walked these same corridors. These aren't just two isolated examples. They're part of a long, bloody roster of killers who've been locked behind these walls. The place doesn't just house criminals, it seems to collect evil itself. Fresh arrivals come in physically destroyed, drug-ravaged bodies, missing teeth, malnutrition written across their faces. Many immediately request dental work because years of substance abuse have rotted their mouths. The prison has to physically rebuild these men before they can even function in the general population. It's a revolving door of broken humanity that never stops spinning. By 2015, San Quentin's death row held nearly 700 condemned inmates, the largest concentration of condemned prisoners in the Western world. These aren't people who made mistakes. These are individuals deemed too dangerous to exist in society. Their cells measure barely larger than bathroom stalls, concrete boxes that trap heat, amplify screams, and seem to radiate malevolence. Some say you can smell fear in the air here. Others claim the silence before lockdown is more terrifying than the screaming that sometimes echoes through cell blocks. Even guards have lost their minds working here. Decades ago, an executioner reported hearing whispers in the darkness. He eventually ended up institutionalized, completely shattered by whatever he experienced. Another guard became convinced the prison was cursed, that the concentrated evil inside spreads like a contagious disease. It raises an uncomfortable question. Does this place destroy minds, or does it simply reveal the brokenness that was already there? Most inmates keep high-profile prisoners like Scott Peterson at a distance, but some would love nothing more than to hurt him just to enhance their own reputation inside these walls. San Quentin has witnessed every variety of human cruelty. Early guards didn't just enforce discipline, they tortured inmates. Whippings, freezing water blasts, public humiliation, and yes, they actually invited civilians to watch executions, sometimes drawing crowds exceeding 1,000 people. That's how twisted the spectacle of punishment became here. Eventually, hangings gave way to the gas chamber. When they first tested it, they used a pig as a test subject. It took over 30 minutes for the animal to die. If that doesn't illustrate the horror of this place, nothing will. The cruelty here has always been methodical, calculated, and utterly merciless. Then there's the story of Alfred Wells, a man who helped construct the gas chamber itself. After being released, he committed more murders. Authorities sent him right back to San Quentin, where he was executed in the very apparatus he'd helped build. He literally created the machine that would end his life. That kind of dark irony seems to define this place. Even with modern reforms and updated policies, something still feels fundamentally wrong here. Stabbings happen over nothing. Some prisoners die before ever reaching trial. Guards refuse to discuss what they witnessed during night shifts. It's as though the building itself watches, waits, and feeds on the violence contained within its walls. There was one brief moment of hope in 1969 when Johnny Cash performed for inmates. For a short time, the violence paused and something approaching humanity broke through the darkness. But it didn't last. The music faded, the bars remained locked, and the shadows reclaimed their territory. Imagine arriving here fresh off the prison bus, guards screaming, metal doors slamming, immediate strip searches that treat you like livestock rather than a human being. You're fingerprinted, photographed, and issued rough prison blues that announce to everyone that you're fresh meat. That makes you an instant target. Your cell is a metal coffin, 4 feet by 10 feet, containing a bunk, a toilet, and nothing else. Walking past rows of cells means encountering dozens of cold, calculating eyes. They're not just looking, they're assessing, judging, waiting. One wrong word, one misinterpreted glance, and you could be bleeding out before you understand what you did wrong. Politics, race, even television preferences can get you killed. At 5 in the morning, loud banging and shouting wake all 3,700 inmates. Miss roll call, and you've created a problem for yourself. Meals aren't about nutrition. They're about navigating invisible boundaries that can explode into violence without warning. Dining tables are segregated by race and gang affiliation. Sit in the wrong spot and you're fighting before you take your first bite. In 2018 alone, over 140 fights erupted in the chow hall. People have been stabbed over food trays. Outside time isn't recreation. It's advanced survival training where one mistake can be fatal. The yard is controlled by gangs. Aryan Brotherhood, Mexican Mafia, Black Guerrilla Family. In 2020, nearly 1,800 inmates were affiliated with gangs that run the prison like a shadow government. They decide who you associate with, where you shower, and ultimately whether you live or die. Neutrality isn't an option. Some inmates take jobs making license plates or join programs just to stay invisible. It's not about rehabilitation or bettering themselves. It's about survival. Dinner is another war zone. Someone was shanked over food in 2017. That year saw over 600 assaults. Every meal carries risk. Night brings lockdown. Quiet but never safe. One unexpected noise can trigger panic throughout entire cell blocks. Cause trouble and you end up in solitary confinement. In 2020, 300 inmates sat in isolation, losing their sanity in concrete boxes with virtually no human contact. Death row is its own special hell. In 2015, nearly 700 inmates were locked down 23 hours daily. Some waited over 20 years for execution. Others gave up entirely. 15 committed suicide. 50 went on hunger strikes in 2013 just to make someone acknowledge their existence. Nearly 3,700 inmates are crammed into space designed for 3,000. People sleep inches apart, fighting over every resource. Privacy doesn't exist. Guards watch. Cameras watch. Other inmates watch. If someone doesn't like how you look at them, you might not survive the day. Over 600 stabbings occurred in 1 year. Almost 2 people stabbed daily. Gangs control everything. If you don't join a group, you stand alone. Being alone in San Quentin is suicide. You can't trust anyone, can't relax for a second. Inmates fashion weapons from toothbrushes and scrap metal just to defend themselves. Even guards can be problematic. Some are fair, but others look away when violence erupts. Daily checks on 3,700 inmates don't prevent bloodshed. Step out of line and solitary confinement awaits. 23 hours alone in a cell, barely larger than a coffin. Cell phones are banned but ubiquitous. Over 1,200 were confiscated in a single year. Some inmates use them to maintain family contact. Others run criminal enterprises from inside the walls. Getting caught means more than added time. It means becoming a marked man. Violence erupts everywhere. Yards, showers, lunch lines. Choosing the wrong dining hall seat can get you beaten or killed. It's not about food, it's about power and control. There's no safe space, not even your bunk. People have been murdered in their sleep. One child killer was stabbed to death with a weapon crafted from a bed frame. Inmates never forget certain crimes. COVID-19 devastated San Quentin in 2020. Over 2,100 inmates were infected. 28 died. 200 staff members got sick. 2 died. The overcrowded conditions turned the virus into a plague. Lawsuits accused officials of ignoring warnings. Inmates described it as living through a horror movie with no exit. There's been talk of reform. The death penalty was paused in 2019, allowing 737 inmates to enter general population. Some participated in anger management and coding classes. Over 1,000 joined GRIP, a program focused on controlling rage. A few, like Kenyatta Leal, got released and found legitimate employment in tech. That offers hope, but hope remains scarce here. Education provides an anchor for some. About 200 inmates earned degrees by 2020. Another 4,500 took college courses. These programs don't just teach academics, they teach mental survival. A focused mind is harder to destroy, and in this environment, that might be your only shield against madness. Physical fitness isn't vanity, it's survival. Some inmates do 500 burpees daily, sending a clear message. Don't try me. The gym packs in 1,500 inmates lifting weights. Even yoga has gained traction, with 400 inmates attempting to calm their internal chaos through practice. Only 7 people have ever escaped San Quentin since 1854. That statistic tells you everything about this place. You don't leave, you survive. If you're fortunate, you find something to keep your mind intact. Because if the gangs don't destroy you, the silence and isolation will. You exist minute by minute, hoping the next 60 seconds don't bring pain or death. This isn't just a prison, it's a mechanism designed to consume people alive. Surviving among 3,700 damaged minds requires constant vigilance, strategic thinking, and accepting that any day could be your last.